Hi, everybody. It's Henry.
And Sandy.
And here we are again with our weekly talk show, Talk It Up, from Magnolia, 1 Lexington Avenue, in our studio at the Magnolia Library and Community Center. Got a lot going on right now. We are getting inundated with requests about information about our Act First Summer Stock Theater Club. What is a theater club versus a camp?
Did you just come up with that?
I did.
Act First?
Well, Act First is new. It's because, I don't know, I like the ring of it, but it came from Judith Sargent Murray.
Oh.
In the fall we're going to be doing her first play, and it was actually the first play ever produced in Boston in 1795, and hasn't been seen in 220 years. So it's time we bring Judith's play back. And instead of saying Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, it says Act First.
Oh.
I thought, what a great name for...
That is.
A workshop, or,
So it just had it spelled out.
Act for FIRST.
Wow.
So we're calling our Summer Stock Theater Club Act First Summer Stock Theater Club. Mm-hmm. And it's a club because not every kid is a camp kid. They're just not. Right. I know my son Cameron was not a camp kid. He did not like going. I was not a camp kid. Maybe that's why he wasn't a camp kid. But I just didn't like it. I loved being outdoors. Right. It wasn't about that, but it was about the competitiveness. I didn't like that. I was bullied a lot as a kid, and in camp environments that can happen too. It doesn't happen in our club. Right. A club is a different energy. A club is a place where everybody who is there wants to be there, and they belong there because it's something that's reflective of who they are. Right. And so it's our Summer Stock Theater Club. There's a long tradition in America of summer stock theater, and it's great because it's sort of a repertory theater, meaning that you do 2 or 3 different shows throughout the summer, and you only have about 10 days to throw the whole thing together. Rehearsals, building the show, designing the show, building the costumes, everything. And so we're doing that on a kid's size level, right? Awesome. For ages 6 through teen. Usually the older teens don't participate as much because they're working or they're chilling on, with their friends or whatever, which we totally get.
It's normal.
Yeah. So 6 to 13 is generally our age group that we have participating, but older teens are certainly welcome, especially if you want to develop leadership skills, if you want to intern with us as a counselor, sort of being there, assisting the program. And basically what our Act First Summer Stock Theater Club is a 2-week session. We're doing 3 of them. The first one's in Magnolia, and that's going to be really, really fun. We just got an original. I know, it's amazing. Lisa Ramos, who is the president of
and
the
who wrote
book plug.
Book plug.
Her grandmother wrote The Legend of Kettle Island when she was a young lady, and it's short.
In school. She said she wrote it in school.
In school. And so we are going to be inspired by this original piece that is born out of Magnolia's folklore to do it for our Summer Stock Theater Club, which will be the first session.
I can't wait to see what the kids come up with.
I'm really excited, and I love partnering with historical societies because that's a big part of who we are, is delving into the history and passing it on to the next generation. And we struggle with that a bit here on Cape Ann. They're not teaching local history in school much anymore, and how do we bridge that gap, right? How do these kids know who they are if they don't know where they come from? So the next session's going to be in Manchester, and that's going to be a musical maritime mystery, and
we're going to perform it at the.
And we're going to perform it at the Festival by the Sea, which is going to be so great. That's because then the public can really benefit from the genius of these kids. These plays are always wonderful, and so brilliant. These kids are amazing. And then the third one is going to be in Gloucester. Hopefully at the Sawyer Free Library again, where we did Wizard of Gloss last year, which was awesome.
So much fun.
And this year the kids came up with the idea of, actually last summer they wanted to do Gilly Gloucester and the Fish Stick Factory.
Oh, that'd be good.
So much fun.
Yeah,
So
we're-
we're going to do that this
so
summer
good.
in Gloucester. And so what we
Mhm.
do is the first week of the session, we are outside all day, every day, exploring on foot the immediate neighborhood, the parks, the beaches, the woods,
Mhm.
every part of town, the museums. We have relationships with all museums, and they sit with us and our kids.
And there you have pictures of last summer on the page.
That's right. If you go to our Facebook page for the North Shore Folklore Theater
Mhm.
Company, there's an album in the photos that shows you the previous summers that we have been doing this.
Right.
Hundreds of photographs of these kids, and they're all out there just having a great
Just
time,
doing
absorbing.
what they do.
Yeah. We've been to the clock tower in City
Mhm.
Hall, up all the way up behind the clock face.
Yeah.
We've been down in the archives at City Hall and the Cape Ann Museum. We've gone on walking tours with the Cape Ann Museum.
To see the old houses.
The old houses and hear stories about them. And the kids are inspired. Even do you remember the post office?
Oh, yes.
We took the kids on a tour of the post office.
A lot of them have even
And
been in there.
It inspired a show. Most of the kids had never walked into a post
Yeah.
office in their life.
No way.
Why would
Right.
they? Why would they? Nobody
Right.
goes to the post office anymore, right? Everything's at home in your mailbox or online,
Mhm.
right? You mail packages from home or FedEx box, whatever, right? So these kids had never been to the post office, and they were blown away by all these little boxes with numbers and little windows on them, and the code that you had to put in to open the door. And so they had the idea that what if these were time machines and the number on the box corresponded to the year that portal would take you to, right? And so they came up with this brilliant idea
That's
that there was a
awesome.
game show, Mystery in a Mailbox, and they got sucked into the mailbox and transported through a wormhole to that, like, 1350 or something, if the box number was 1350. They would get sucked into where they are, right? So what was here in 1350? Nothing, except the natives,
Mhm.
right? Because that was even before the white people came. So they walked into this Nushuitu, this native hut, and they were having this game show.
That's awesome.
And then the audience had to answer questions about Cape Ann history.
So it was interactive.
So it was
Mhm.
interactive with the audience. The kids came up with the questions that were basic questions
Yeah.
about Cape Ann history. And, of course, nobody in the audience, kids or adults, knew the answers. That was really telling, actually. And and then the kids answered the question. And the kid who answered the question won a new time machine to take them to another period in Cape Ann's history. So it was actually really wonderful,
That
and
sounds
I'd love to
fun. That
develop
sounds
that
great.
even
It's a
more.
nice, like, history
Maybe work with the
lesson.
schools.
Wouldn't that be a wonderful history
That would be a
semester?
great history.
A time
semester.
machine, yeah, I love
Great
it.
for a semester to
So,
do that.
Gloucester Public Schools, Rockport Public Schools, Manchester, Essex, contact me
Mhm.
and let's partner on this, because I think it's so important that these kids know where they come from and are instrumental not only in holding the historic and modern folklore of where we live, because they're going to be the ones carrying it into the future. These stories are dying with the people that carry them, right? But they're going to be the ones to invent new and modern folklore that they can pass on
Mhm.
to their children. Mythology and legend, they don't belong only in the past, right? So let's really acknowledge that these kids are creative and let them be inspired, like so
That
many
they're
other
curious,
creative people,
too.
artists who have come
Right.
here, forever.
They are curious,
Completely curious.
So it's just giving them the right tool to.
Well,
bridge
and the
that
tool
curiosity.
is the land where they live, and
Yeah.
it's the beaches and the woods and the
Mhm.
museums and the people. Ultimately, it's the people.
Yes.
A couple years ago, we actually remember last year too, we took the water taxi over to Rocky
Yes.
Neck, and the kids interviewed the artists over there. And out of those interviews came a main stage production, Murder on Rocky Neck, the opera.
Oh, right.
That was
wasn't
inspired
around
by
for
those
that.
conversations. So you never know what's going to turn into a
Mhm.
full-scale theater production in our company. So
Right.
get your kids involved. You go to our website now, northshorefolk.org, and go to our youth theater page,
Mhm.
and there's a registration form there. Fill it out, attach a photo of your child. You can mail it in to us. You can drop it off with us. It's important to note as well that we have sort of adjusted our model a little bit because we're doing some field research now, and I actually have a link in the doobly-doo right below here to a survey, a parent survey that we are doing for the first time because, we're in our 5th season and we want to keep serving the community in the best way we can. So we need your feedback.
Mhm.
We need you
Very
to tell us what
important.
you want. We need us to tell you what your experience has been or has not been. Why have you not been involved? What's holding you back? Is it cost? Is it scheduling? Cost is a big factor right now
Yes, very
for a lot of
much.
people, not everybody, right? So, ultimately we are a service organization to this community and we want to make our work accessible to everyone, regardless of economic status. So we have decided to adopt a new model where we're essentially free to the public. If you would like to donate for our services, or if you would like to volunteer, if you can't give money, that's great. If you're a business or an individual who would like to sponsor our company, those doors are wide open now because
Right.
we need you in order to function. We need to rely on our community as we always have, but now even more because we expect that now that we are a free company, that means our programs, that means our tickets, everything. We've never turned anyone away for lack of ability to pay. And those conversations have always been kind of private. If a family has come to us
That's
and
right.
said, listen, I'd love to have my kids involved, but we can't even afford a Y program, let alone anybody else. We just can't afford it. And my message has always been what? Come anyway,
Come anyway.
right? Show up. Just show up. It's more important that your children are here having these experiences. The message is, you guys, your kids are more important than money. Your kids are more important than money. Hear me now, right? So get them involved. Your kids are more important than the money. Do we need money to operate? Absolutely, right? We're a business. We're a nonprofit organization. We have, expenses, absolutely, to bring what we bring. At the same time, we don't want to limit what we're able to offer to only people who can pay with cash, right? So if you can, great. We love you. Mwah. Thank you. And sponsor another kid or two if you can, right? To be involved. If you can't, come and volunteer or be a part of it somehow. Get on our Talk It Up Big Mouth Mamas group.
Big Mouth Mamas, talk it up.
On our Facebook page and talk it up. Spread the word.
I love what you just said.
How much does it cost to sponsor a kid?
You know what? This is the first time I've heard you say that, and I was actually going to say sponsor a kid. That is just such a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
Because I know I come across children all the time that I say, I wish I could put them through our programs. I wish I could just take their hands and walk them right over to the theater and say, here, but I don't know, it's a donation.
It's a donation, and our programs have been a couple hundred for the 2-week session.
Last summer was like $225.
$225 for the 2-week session is what we've charged in the past.
That's a bargain.
And according, if you look at any other program around, we really want it to be accessible, and even that is really, really tough. When you think of this is a full day program, this is 9 to 4 every day, and this is not only learning theater skills, but it's life skills. Right. So much of what we do are life skills. Building self-esteem.
I've sponsored my 2 children.
In an exchange.
I volunteer. Right. I'm very active in the theater.
Yeah. Sandy is one of our biggest volunteers. She's got 2 kids who are involved in our programs and in our productions. And her exchange is her time and her creative talent and energy. And we co-teach together. Right. I'm a volunteer in the company. And it wasn't planned.
It just happened.
It just happened. I don't have any kids anymore to be involved in the company. But it's, I started this ball rolling. And I feel like I have a responsibility in my mind to this community to be of service. That's why I'm here. And for that reason, and I don't mind living simply. You know, I
Mhm.
really don't mind. My investment is in this community and not just the children, but in the adults as well.
Right.
Right?
And
So
the
the
youth,
question
yeah.
is, how much is it to sponsor a kid in this program? Probably around 200, 225, somewhere around there is what we calculated in the past.
It's a lot of bang for your buck.
It's a lot of bang for your buck, and
Or
you
you
know,
could trade and say, I want to sponsor this child, but what can I do for you? I can help.
or you can do both.
You can do both. Come chaperone a couple days with us.
That's right. Do you have a van or a bus?
Yeah. Come.
Let's
hang
go on
out.
a little road trip.
We don't know what this is gonna look like.
No.
Our new model. So, I mean, last summer we had how many kids? 6.
We
8?
had per group, I think around 9. Yeah.
9. And it
So
was just you
sometimes
and I.
smaller. Yeah.
So if we double or triple that, it'd be nice to have some chaperones on a list that we can call to come just, supervise with us.
Well, and we should say too that we have, since we opened our doors, we've had an open door policy.
Right.
Parents are always welcome to
Always.
come and hang out with us in our workshops, in rehearsals, be involved.
Right.
This is one of the great things about theater is that you can create memories with your kids
Mhm.
in theater together. When you're out on if you have your kids involved in sports, which is great too, you can't get out on the field with them.
Yep.
Maybe you can coach, right? But that's just one parent. You can't get out on the field and play with them. In the theater, you can actually get on stage and play with them.
Mhm.
You can help with costuming, you can help with lighting and sound and all of that. We need all of these things to operate. We are a volunteer organization. We rely on volunteers. We rely on the generosity of our community in order to keep us afloat. And you have for 5 years. And we want to just be really clear about our model
Yes.
now that we're working. We've always said in the newspapers, ask Gail McCarthy, in every article that she's written about us, she has always said no one will be turned away for lack of ability to pay. She has always said that. We have always said that. Our shows have always been a suggested donation of $15 to $20 or $15 to $30 depending, and so the message has always been there.
Right.
But now we're saying outright, you know what? We're free. We are a free organization that needs the support of its community in order to operate. And it's a little bit different message, I think. I think it's cleaner.
I think
and then
so.
people don't question it as much.
We won't really have someone at the door, and it's different. It's just like come and have fun, just show up, and we don't bring up that conversation. It's not like, well, here's the check. Just go to the website and donate on there, and we don't have to know how much you're
do
donating.
What's in your budget.
That doesn't have to be.
We've had people donate $2,000. We've had people donate $40,000. We've had people donate $10. We've had people donate.
We're here.
Whatever. Yeah.
Magnolia.
Yeah, we have a gift from a community member that's keeping us here in Magnolia for the year. So
only feels good to pay it forward.
It does, and we're doing such good work, and we want people to know about it. So talk it up, please. Anything else we need to talk up before we go on to talk it up more?
I think that's good.
Granny is coming up. We are casting kids for that. It's worth repeating. We're going to start rehearsals soon in the next couple weeks. So if you want to have your kids involved in Granny, which is our spoof of Annie, it's a musical. It's going to be great.
It's
really
fun. Great. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be an all kids cast except Tommy.
Tommy Sousa's playing Granny. They voted and they decided nobody else could play Granny.
Some of them looked at me and I said, nope.
Nobody looked at me.
Nobody looked at you.
That's all right. I'll direct it. So that's coming up. There's still time to get your kids involved in Granny if they want to be. It's going to be here in Jones Hall at the Magnolia Library and Community Center. We open May 1st. It's going to be a quick process. We are also looking for a music director.
Yes.
If you are a retiree, if you're an at-home mom who wants your kids in the program, and if you play piano,
that would be a great way to sponsor your
great
child.
way to sponsor and support our company. A great opportunity to volunteer. So we are looking for a music director for Granny. It's basically the music from Annie, easy stuff that people know. We also on April 4th, we are going to be doing our Brain Candy Family Film Festival, which we couldn't do in the winter because the weather, the snow was just ridiculous.
Come out here.
So we are starting it on Passover with Prince of Egypt.
Yes.
And donations will benefit the Brain Candy Project. If you go to braincandyproject.org, you can find more about that foundation. that supports parents with children who are critically ill while they're living in the hospital. So that's kind of exciting. Another Brain Candy benefit will be on April 16th, also here in Magnolia, and that's Cameron's Feast.
Cameron's Feast.
And that's going to be from 6 to 9 p.m. here in Jones Hall. I'm so excited about this because, A, it's Cameron's 20th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, surreal. It's surreal, you guys. He passed when he was 13, you know? And to think of him at 20, what would he be doing? Where would he be? What would he be like? It's just amazing. Now, Cameron was always obsessed with Peter Pan ever since he was little. And now, for me anyway, he will always be the boy who wouldn't grow up.
I love that.
So we are going to be showing the silent 1924 film of Peter Pan. James Barrie, who wrote Peter Pan, was actually on the set as a consultant. So it's as close to pure story as you can get. And the amazing Bent Knee, who are a Boston North Shore band, are composing an original score in Cameron's honor.
Oh my goodness!
I know. I'm getting a little verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. But we're gonna have raffle. We're gonna have auction. We're gonna have food. It's just gonna be a wonderful night. Family friendly, obviously. And all in tribute to this amazing soul who was here for 13 years, who I got to be the papa of, and to benefit a great foundation that he dreamed up. You know,
I went last year. It was
holding
so
parents
nice.
so parents can hold their children.
It was really nice.
Love that.
Just
Yeah.
feeling love.
So there's that. And I think that's about it, right?
Yeah.
April 1st, I'm singing over here across the street at 525 with Henry Allen and the New Swing Set. Of course, every other weekend I'm at Katrina's doing brunch from 11:30 to 2:30, singing. And that's Sunday. And alternating Sundays, you should know, those of you that enjoy a nice Bloody Mary from time to time.
Right.
Our very own Tommy Souza is guest bartender at the Crow's Nest.
Yay!
You gotta go. And they've been, I have to say, and props to the Crow's Nest, they have been a sponsor of our theater company for the last 2 years.
Good.
And we love having them as a sponsor. They're just wonderful people. And so go support them because they support local arts and theater. All right, so that's it for Talk It Up. Stay tuned for Talk It Up more with our special guest from the Grace Center.
Nice.
All right, we'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye.